Hey guys, Eric from PlayStation Now here. I'm doing an interview with Jason Hooft from 3KB, and so yeah, let's get down to it. First question is, do you own a PS3?
Yes, I definitely do. It'd be the controller here, and I had the original fat PS3, and it broke down, and I was lucky enough to have some of the viewers on the show help me out when we started out, and I got the PS3 Slim.
All right, cool. Now, do you know how many gigabytes that is? Is it like a really base model or high up there in gigabytes
Uh,
or?
I think it's a 120.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. Because I have the 80 gig fatty, so I'm
Yeah,
probably gonna upgrade soon, depending on whether or not it's worth it.
I still have that one downstairs somewhere.
Now, do you use your PS3 for just gaming, or is it like your primary source of media? Because I'm not sure if you have a 360 or not. So,
Yeah, I got a 360 as well. I mean, I have all of the systems
oh, okay,
because of the show, including like 3DS, like everything. And um, I would say that when it comes to watching film or even Netflix, I use the PS3 just because the Blu-ray player um, is in it already, so I don't have to switch it up. So I tend to also buy most of my games for PS3 if it's on both systems, just because of that fact. I also download some movies once in a while, and then I pop them on the PS3 and
yeah,
watch them on the TV.
yeah, same here sometimes. Now, when you say you download them, do you use Netflix or do you use the video store that's on the network?
I've used both of those,
You do?
um, but I've also used like just the USB drive. So for
Okay,
like,
yeah, that
I've
too.
got files of like old episodes of Ghost Hunters or
Hmm.
something funny.
Now, on to gaming. What is your favorite single player PS3 game? Like, if you come home from work or whatever and you're bored and you just want to play a really good single player game, if you had to narrow it down to one or maybe two, which game do you just really like playing?
Um, I was always obsessed with God of War because of the combo system and how ridiculous it can get.
Hmm.
Like just coming up with different combos and trying to kill a certain amount of people at the same time with those. And I remember when I was younger, I used to do that with GoldenEye.
Yeah.
I used to just like turn it on and try to just get headshots. So
Yeah.
it's the same type of idea. I enjoy trying. I'm like a grind. I like being a grinder in video
Mm.
games. So I like games like that. Like even the Scott Pilgrim game on the PSN.
Hmm.
I'm in love with that game just because it's simply just a grinder, really.
Mm.
You just gotta level up your character and you become more powerful. And I like games that are like that
All
for
right,
the
cool.
most part. I'd rather play something like that, like a grinder, opposed to like your everyday first person shooter.
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah, I would say that, and it's kind of a tough question because I play so much.
Oh yeah, I believe.
Also, I pop in my Orange box
Mm.
for PS3 every once in a while.
Yeah, I love
Uh,
the Orange Box. Great game. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like I got it literally for $5, which is just it's probably the best deal in gaming history.
Yeah, there's
Like,
like 5 or 6 games on it, so yeah.
yeah, it's like jam packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it, really. I mean, I've been playing Darksiders a lot
Mm.
because I wanted to replay that. I'd love that actually. I think I might do a Let's Play for Darksiders. That probably will be the first game I do it for.
All right, cool, sweet. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Now, what is your favorite offline multiplayer game? Like you said, you like to play GoldenEye, and I know that's long before the time of online multiplayer. So, any games like that for the PS3 that you just really enjoy playing with a few friends?
You mean like together in the same room
Yeah.
offline? Well, the Scott Pilgrim game is a perfect example of like sort of old school couch multiplayer because it's not online. So it's four players but on the same television. So that game's amazing with
Yeah.
four people. It's basically exactly like the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game.
Hmm.
So it's really it brings me back to the good old days. That's
Yeah.
for sure. So I like playing that, and the I guess there's some other DLC games that I play once in a while. I think 1941 is that the name of the title?
For a Battlefield?
No, not. Oh, sorry, I'm getting mixed up with. No, it's like the overhead view of the planes, and you're like shooting. It's like a bird's eye view. I can't think of the name.
I have no
Uh,
idea. Is it like Warhawk or?
no, it's like old school arcade
Oh, okay.
game.
All
Uh,
right.
I just can't think of the name right now. Um, everyone knows what it is. I can't remember.
All right. Now, with that being said, what is your favorite online multiplayer? And I know it's going to be tough narrowing down to just one or two, but like there are a ton of them came out in like the past 2 years. You know, you have Call of Duty, and then you have the Battlefields. But other than that, what are your favorite online multiplayer games?
Oh man, I that one's probably the hardest question. Everyone always asks that. Um, I mean, Halo Reach Online for me, I definitely spent a lot of time playing that. But I mean, for PS3, Mike and I usually we used to play a lot of NHL
Okay.
online against each other.
Yeah.
I used to play a lot of Mag online. I love that game online.
Great game.
Um, yeah, like obviously I played a lot of Killzone 2 online
Hmm.
when that came out. Um, really, I because of the show, I really have to play everything online
Oh, yeah.
just to try it out. But
Yep.
there's few games that I feel like I get attached to online
Hmm.
as much as as much as Halo Reach attached me, and that was always just because it brought me back again to like the couch multiplayer days of Halo when
Yeah.
that came out, or even GoldenEye, or um, even it kind of also reminds me of just um, like even the PS1 days of
Mm.
like playing like Wipeout 2 player on the same screen.
Yeah.
I also play Wipeout online as well, like the new Wipeout.
Oh,
Uh,
yep.
yeah, I love racing games, so
Yeah, me
that's
too. It's such a great way. You know, a lot of people spend too much time on the FPSs, and they don't really. They tend not to play racing games as much anymore because I don't know. I guess we live in an age where first-person shooter, not even that, but it's all action for some people. But personally, I think that racing games are still a big hit, and I just love them a lot as well.
yeah. I think racing is it's obviously still gigantic. Like
Mm.
Gran Turismo 5, um, it has weaknesses, but it's still on par with Part 4. It's
Yeah,
not when it went
it's a
downhill.
solid racing game. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's still a solid racing game, but I mean, like games like Dirt 3 that come out.
Mm.
I used to always love Rally.
Oh,
So yeah, Gran Turismo 2 when the Rally was in that was probably my favorite Rally game.
mm.
And then going back in time to even like Sega Rally Championship
Mm.
for that might have been for Sega Saturn or even before that. I remember that being awesome.
Yeah. It's probably going to be hard to even answer this, but what are your three most anticipated PS3 games coming out in the near future? Whether ones they announced at E3 this year, or whether you've heard of rumors of games, even games that you think would make a good game that haven't even been announced yet.
For PS3.
Yeah.
Well, Twisted Metal's up there.
Mm.
Twisted Metal Black was probably one of my all-time favorite racing game. Well, you can't call it a racing game, but I mean, car games, car destruction games. It reminds me of like rock and roll racing on the original Nintendo. I mean, obviously it's a little bit different, but it still
Yeah.
has the same vibe, like crashing cars into each other, or like Destruction Derby 2 on PS1.
Yeah.
I love those type of games where you get in a car and you gotta basically destroy each other. And the new Twisted Metal just seems to be exactly what it should be,
Mm.
like over the top and just ridiculous. So I'm super excited for that.
Oh, me too.
Um, I guess another game that I would be excited for would be whatever they do with God of War 4. I know that they're working on it, so
That should be good to see. Yeah.
it'd be nice if we could see something. But I mean, it's going to take a few more years, but I definitely know it's coming out for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the God of War series, I think they can take it to some really cool places at this point,
Oh, yeah.
even to a multiplayer level. So those are the rumors I've heard so far,
Hmm.
that it'll be multiplayer, and you'll be able to play with like 4 people in like in a room and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um,
That should be good.
so I have no idea what that means for the game, but hopefully it's an amazing addition to it.
Yeah.
Then I mean, Little Big Planet, I know that Little Big Planet 2 possibly, it could be the last one in that franchise for quite some time, but
Yep.
um, because Media Molecule is decided to work on something else at the moment, but I think that they have to make a part 3, obviously, for that.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the most unique games that I've ever played.
Oh, me too.
And I haven't seen anything like that on any other system. So to see part 3 of Little Big Planet would be awesome.
Yeah,
And
that'd be perfect.
I kind of want them to make the campaign a little bit longer.
Mm.
I know that it's kind of based on the level design and they made the levels with the game itself, but I want to kind of see it go in a different direction next time around. Be
Yeah.
more take it into a different genre.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? I like the fact that it's sort of childish, and I mean it sort of has an adult edge to it.
Hmm.
But I think it should go elsewhere too, or just add a lot more DLC from other games like Killzone and whatnot, like they were doing.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
So those are the things I'd like to see. And then something just made up. I still want to see a new version of Devil May Cry that is not as horrible as the one that they're going to release. So unfortunately, we're going to get this just horrible remake that they're working on. And I just want them to bring back the Dante from the first one. So,
All right. Cool.
but obviously Uncharted 3.
Yeah, that's basically a given for any PS3 owner out there.
Yeah, that's what's ridiculous. They finally have this huge title. They've never had a franchise this big since Crash Bandicoot.
And maybe I heard this somewhere that's not true, but I heard they were actually making a movie out of it. So
yeah,
that's
actually,
gonna
I
be
know
really
all about it. Basically, it was going to be directed. I won't get too much into detail, but it was going to be directed by David. Well, I forget his name. David Russell, the guy that directed The Fighter, and Mark Wahlberg was going to be in it with Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro.
Oh, jeez.
And they were changing the story from him sort of going after treasures to more like he steals artwork from around the world or something ridiculous.
Yeah. Oof.
And they wanted Mark Wahlberg to be Nathan Drake. I thought it was horrible. So
yeah, that doesn't sound.
I think they just got too much hate mail, and he just decided to quit. And now the director of Limitless, the Bradley Cooper movie that was just out a while back that did really well, he actually has a script now, and he stated that he's going back to the game to focus the movie more about the game and whatnot.
Okay, cool.
So I'm not surprised if Bradley Cooper doesn't show up as Nathan Drake. And I think Bradley Cooper could be an amazing Nathan Drake.
Yeah, they have the same personalities in a way.
Exactly. They have that same sort of wise-ass Indiana Jones personality.
Yeah.
All he has to do is he seems a little too skinny, but if he works out a little bit, I don't know. I didn't see Limitless, but I think that he would be amazing.
Yeah.
He'd be awesome.
I
Just
agree.
his hair, and he kind of looks like him a little bit. So I don't really care if it looks like Nathan Drake. I think a lot of people are hung up that it needs to look like Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
And I understand that to a certain degree, but I think you can go with Bradley Cooper on that one.
Yeah. Now, there's obviously E3 and E3s in the past years. Within 2 years or so, 3D gaming has been not sort of a big thing, but it's been there, and they have been releasing games with 3D functionality built into it. You'd be getting patches on the PS3 for 3D gaming and all that stuff. You have the 3D TVs. What's your stand on 3D gaming? Do you feel like it's a gimmick, or do you feel like the gaming industry is slowly going towards 3D gaming, and soon it's just gonna be 3D?
I don't think it'll ever just be 3D, because the fact that you have to wear the glasses is probably the number one deterrent for people to use that. It's not like the Nintendo Wii when it came out and people were afraid they would look like fools swinging that controller around, and everyone did look like a fool. But I mean, the glasses is way different. I mean, you have to physically pick up and put on these glasses, and it just seems like people are just too lazy these days to really care about the 3D that much to invest in glasses that cost hundreds of dollars. So yes, the 3D does bring another element to it, and like even the 3DS, I have to admit, playing Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time on that in 3D does give it another level, but it's not like mind blowing. It's not like the next step in gaming.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've played the PS3 in 3D, and I have to admit it is very cool, but it just doesn't bring something to the table for me that I want to invest my money into yet.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, it is really, it's cool to play a game in 3D, and it does give that depth of field feeling to the game. So like SOCOM and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I just don't think 3D should be involved with video games that much.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather see them work on developing a game that we've never played before, opposed to a first-person shooter. And that's why I have to applaud Nintendo, because they're making something coming up that's just ridiculous. That either it's going to fail miserably, or it's going to be copied.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with, if 3D doesn't take off, Sony needs to get back to the books and start working on PS4, which obviously they're doing, but they need to work on something else included with the PS4. So
Exactly.
my guess would be that they probably will release something that's motion detection, just like a Kinect, that will work with PlayStation Move 2 or whatever they have. So they'll basically combine those things. That's the way I see gaming in the future. Combining those two things together probably is the best idea at this point.
I agree.
Yeah, because then you could hold a gun in your hand, but it's also motion censored, so it can tell where it is in the room. So I feel like for a first-person shooter, I think adding that Kinect sort of that sort of idea that you're holding something in your hand instead of not holding something in your hand. So it's just, I think that once they start to see the potential for that, that's the way they're going to go for the next system.
Exactly. Because oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So I don't think the problem is right now, like the PS3 is not even maxed out, and by the time we hit the next generation, I think people are still assuming it's going to come out soon. But I know the reports say like 2014, but I really don't see them working that hard to hit that goal, because it still has major potential. And really, how much more can we push the graphics?
Yeah, and exactly. Like, the PS3 is always going to have some life in it. Like, the PS2, it didn't have online gaming. So when the PS3 came out, that became the big thing, online gaming. Same with the Xbox 360 and, the Wii to an extent. But I always feel like the PS3 or the Xbox 360 or possibly even the Wii U is going to have some life into it that it doesn't need a successor for maybe another decade or so. So yeah,
exactly, and that's what a lot of people don't want to realize. But then again, I mean, I don't like to put the systems up against each other like they're in a war.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just how it is nowadays.
Yeah.
I feel like Nintendo's sort of off of that right now. They're not really. They are competing, obviously, but they're not on the same timeline anymore.
Oh yeah.
Like they used to be. So it's not head to head anymore. I think that Sony really needs to pay attention to what's about to happen with the Wii U.
Yeah, definitely take some notes on it and possibly integrate it into a system.
Well, a lot of people also don't realize is, the cost of a PS3 to make one is ridiculous. And same as the Xbox. And Nintendo has always been smart enough to make a system that made them money right away. So for the Wii U, again, they're using parts that are from old Nintendo systems. So it's just an upgraded CPU yet again with that new controller. So again, they're going to be making money right away. So I think Sony's smart enough this time around to not botch up the launch of PS4.
Yeah.
Like they did with the PS3. Because the PS3, you have to admit, it took a while for it to come around.
Exactly. Now, I'm going to end this the interview with just one more question. If you've ever been on the PS3 blog, they have this section where you can suggest features, and Sony takes a look at them and they says whether or not they're going to integrate that. But do you feel like what features I guess you could put it, would you like to see in the PS3? Like, I know the 360 has cross-game chat, and I know they have I read somewhere that they're coming out with a better UI like you'd see on the Windows Phone. Do you feel like the XMB has become stale? Or, like, what features would you like to see in the PS3, either in a software update or used in the PS4 when it does come out?
I think that Sony's always been horrible at social networking.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the PS Home is, to me, is a disaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the simple fact of the loading times. I mean, it's on a PS3 and it takes that long to load certain things. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think that they need to come up with a simpler looking sort of home network that will appeal to everybody, not just these like super hardcore nerds that want to create their own little house in PS land. I think that like they need to come up with something simple like what Xbox did, and even not as childish as a Nintendo Wii, but they need to come up with an interface that's not as cutting edge, like flashy.
Yeah.
I think it needs to just be toned down and more customizable to how we are, because everyone that plays a PS3, it just seems like everybody has to be sort of this just completely into the PS3. You can't really customize, like, other than your avatar on your PSN. You can't really do much. There's no profile.
Yeah.
You don't have really an avatar that's moving around like you do on the other systems, unless you go into the PS Home. But that's no way to launch a game out of that. Like, no one even goes in there to do that stuff anymore. So I think PS4 needs to have better online.
No, totally.
And I wouldn't mind if it's even you have to pay for it, just like Xbox Live, because Xbox Live is the best online that's probably ever existed.
I believe that.
So I think Sony just needs to copy it. I mean, everyone copies each other and just takes it to the next step. So that's what Sony really needs to do, that to win over a ton of people. I mean, a lot of people still play online, but it's not. It really is just not as good.
Yeah. Now, do you feel that Sony can copy the Xbox Online without charging people? Do you think it's ultimately just going to end up costing PS3 users to use online?
I don't think that we're going to see a major change on the PS3. I think the PS4 will be a new sort of stepping stone for them to be able to charge for something that is worth paying for. Because they understand at this moment what it is now is not worth $60 a year. Even though it has most of the features as Xbox Live, it's not even close to Xbox Live. So they basically need to look at Xbox Live if they want to make a proper online network.
Yeah, I agree.
And I also think that they have to get Facebook, integrated into all of it.
Yeah.
Integrated into almost everything you do on there, because everybody has Facebook nowadays. So that's another thing. Same as Twitter. Because even for me, because I have the show, it would make things a lot simpler if I wanted to post a link or crazy things. Like, I think the PS4 should have abilities to let you take a screenshot of a game and actually upload that to, say, Facebook and write something on it.
Yeah.
Be like, this is where I am in the game, check this out, or whatever it would be. And
also the argument against that is with the web browser, whatever that mess is on the PS3, that can be used to go on Facebook, but it doesn't even compare. I mean, I also agree with you that the PS3 does need a Facebook app, because right now what we have is tell your friends what trophies you unlocked, or tell your friends what you just completed in a game, and I really do agree that's extremely weak.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, I don't even think they did a double take on that. They just like added it just because they could. I don't think they really understand how important that network actually is. Because, I mean, what it really comes down to is if we're not buying the systems, then they don't make the systems. So I feel like that they should listen to us a little bit more when they make these things. So hopefully they take some more feedback that time around.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like they can ignore Facebook. So obviously I hope to see at least some sort of better integration than what they had before, because it's pretty much coming. So
yeah, well, I think it heavily relies on what Nintendo's going to do. I think because Nintendo's in first place, and Sony knows that, obviously. I mean, they know that to beat them, they need to beat them, by actually listening to us,
Hmm.
opposed to copying Nintendo.
Exactly.
So, I pray to God that Sony does not come out with some tablet with like a PS3 controller attached to it,
That'd be
because
nice.
that will hurt them. It might help, but I just that for me being a hardcore gamer, I like to see innovation,
Hmm.
and regardless of what everyone says, the Nintendo system, like I said, it's either going to be something that we've never experienced before, or it's going to flop completely.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really an in between for that thing.
No.
So that's where my mind's at now. Then
Hmm.
again, obviously I love my PS3 and
Yep.
Xbox. I mean, I love all the systems, and they all have different features that I'm obsessed with. But in terms of the next step, I think Nintendo really is on to something. So
Yeah.
it'd be nice to see Sony come out with something for once that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the PSP2, or
The Vita.
yeah, the Vita. I mean, it's not really the next step.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just the next version of a PSP. So
Unless, of course, they do something with the Wii U, like a patch or whatever that lets you use the PS Vita on your PS3, like they did with the Wii U and that controller with the screen on it. I mean, because they're similar touchscreen camera-based
well,
objects.
it's the
So,
same. Yeah, to be honest, it is the same thing. So they could essentially do that. So
hmm,
it'll be it's going to be ridiculous to see what happens there.
yeah.
So I'm like super excited for that. I
Oh,
can't
me
wait.
too.
I can't wait to see just what it does exactly. Like, I mean, I know what it does at this point,
Hmm.
but to see it actually in your hand and be able to do it is a different
Yeah,
story.
that's gonna be crazy. So, awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, this is Jay Hooft from 3KillaBytes. Go check out their channel. Really good stuff. Reviews, video games, movies, all that good stuff. I'm Eric from PlayStation Now, and I'll see you guys next time.